moneymaker.
Rick Solomon's put out a sleeper straddle, which becomes live if no one raises before it gets to him. Action will start on Randy Lou. Folds.
Big sleeper straddle to 2K this time.
Action on the cannon.
Is that a 2K straddle? Now we're talking.
Folds.
Did you really do that? You are sick, kid. Wow.
Queen 3 for Daniel. Raises to 4,000.
I like this.
Daniel's in position trying to isolate Rick, who plays huge but is still an amateur.
Lock folds. Ace Queen for Kenney. Makes the call.
Solomon's getting ridiculous pot odds.
And calls 2,000 with King 8. So we'll have three-way action to the flop.
Look at Bryn Kenney. He doesn't care. He's a baller.
5-4-5 rainbow. Kenney checks. Solomon checks. Daniel going for some chips. And bets 6,000.
Kenny's got the best hand with ace-queen high.
And he's in there. Solomon folds.
Daniel's drawing very thin.
8 of spades on the turn.
Rick would have paired his 8.
And Kenney checks.
Daniel raised pre-flop, bet the flop. Let's see if he continues here on the turn. I'm always blabbing on and on about the power of position. Maybe Daniel will use it.
And he does, bets 2/3 of the pot.
This is actually a pretty big bet from Daniel. Bryn looks suspicious, and we know he'd be right. Daniel was raising Rick's straddle in position, so his range is very wide. But the counter to that is that this board does hit a lot of the hands Daniel likes to play, and Bryn's way behind, even to a combo draw.
He's going to make the call.
Don't look now, but our first pot of the night is getting pretty big.
To the river. Deuce of hearts, big brick. And Kenney checks.
We don't see a 3-barrel bluff from Daniel too often. Bryn's been pretty stubborn. I'm not even sure one would work.
But Daniel does 3-barrel, 85,000.
That deuce didn't really bring in a lot of draws. If Kenney thought he was good on the turn, he might be able to make this call still. But that's a pretty sick bet. Not only does Daniel not 3-barrel very often, but I can't remember the last time I saw him overbet the river on a bluff.
Kenney folds.
That's one of those, right, Phil?
That was fun to watch.
Not so fun for Kenney. Maybe it was.
Let's see it then.
You want to see it? You don't want to see it. It'll tilt you, for sure.
Let's see.
I want to see it then.
You guys really want to see? Make the game better? All right, show one for the boys. Come on. Let's do it. What the hell?
Ah, that's like looking at an ex's Facebook page. Don't do it.
Welcome back to the big game where earlier tonight Daniel Negreanu pulled off a big bluff against Bryn Kenney. What was Daniel thinking? Find out now as we go behind the poker face.
Well, at this point in the game, I've been playing pretty solid and hadn't shown a bluff at all. And Rick Solomon was doing a lot of funky straddling in weird positions for really weird amounts. So he does a sleepy straddle for 2,000. I'm on the button, and I want to play a lot of hands on the button. I think it's obviously the best spot at the table, and although I only have Queen 3 offsuit, I figure raise here is going to get a lot of credit. I don't think Phil Locke and Bryn Kenney or Randy Lou really want to play a lot of hands out of position. So I make it 4,000, totally expecting to get heads up with Rick Solomon. To my surprise, Bryn Kenney calls, and of course Solomon does as well. I have nothing, Queen 3. The flop comes 4-5-5. Both players check to me. And earlier in the session, I bet the flop in the same kind of situation, and Bryn check raised me. So I thought if I did it again, he'd probably give me a little more credit this time because he wouldn't think I'd do it again. He'd think maybe I'd just give up. So I went ahead and bet the flop. I bet 6,000. Bryn Kenney called. That led me to believe he's somewhere around a middle pair, maybe like a decent ace, but I knew he obviously had queen high beat. Rick folds. Now the turn card comes in 8, and Bryn Kenney checks. I felt like he doesn't have that strong a hand. He's got some sort of marginal hand, and if I make a good size bet here, there's no reason why he shouldn't think I have trips, a straight, maybe even a full house already. So I go ahead and I bet 16,000 on the turn. Now Bryn calls. When he calls me, I think, he probably has something like pocket 7s, and the 8's giving him an extra out in that he can catch a 6 for straight, maybe a 7 for full house. Now the river card is a deuce, a complete blank, and he checks again. I know Queen 3 is no good, but I also don't think that he's got that big of a hand. And I feel like if I make a bet of 25,000 or 26,000, he's gonna call me too often thinking that I'm bluffing. So I thought, why not do what's called polarizing my range, making it look like I'm on a complete bluff or that I'm looking to get paid, and I way overbet the pot. I went ahead and bet 85,000, figuring that he's not gonna wanna look stupid calling off such a big bet with just a pair of sevens, because that's kind of what I thought he had. I still don't know what he had, but that was my read. So yeah, basically the way over bet there, to me, I'm trying to convince him that I've got this really big hand and put him on something strong and that he's gonna call big, but the truth is, I just figured a really big bet was gonna get him off a marginal hand.